Webinars aren't old school anymore. The 54% of B2B pros now watch at least one webinar every single week. Yet 90% of that content vanishes after the live session. So in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to show you how to squeeze a week's worth of shorts, blogs, and emails out of one webinar while AI is going to do the heavy lifting. So this should be a pretty good one today. Hopefully get you something with actionable takeaways. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. The first thing we're going to do, we're inside of Alphana. And for those of you that are new, that are joining us, Alphana can help you take any video or audio and repurpose that into over 30 pieces of content. And so today what we're going to do is we're actually going to repurpose a video, a webinar, into content you can use. So the first step that I'm going to do, you could either use one of these options, but because we're going to create a webinar content, I'm going to go ahead and click create in the top left. Now, once you're in here, you're going to see all the content cards that you have access to. But the first thing I want you to do is actually select and upload a video. So down here, I click the add YouTube or upload button. And what's great is that you're going to see here this upload box that lets you upload from different sources. So if you just shot a webinar, whether that's on Zoom or any other recording platform, you could download that and then you can upload that into Alphana by clicking on video or audio. And you can import that to your Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive. We have all the integrations in here so you can import that content. If you already did your webinar and you threw that up on YouTube, right, you could just simply drop a YouTube link in order to import that content. In my case, I had already imported this video, so I'm going to go and reuse from my library. So when I click on that, you're going to see now all of the videos that I've already uploaded or I've extracted and done content for. And so I'm going to grab this one. I found a video on YouTube. It's about building a simple and effective 6-step marketing funnel. I thought this was important because webinars really help to drive more top of funnel leads as well, right? And it helps to nurture. And so you could have ongoing recurring webinars and that can help to drive more business and more revenue for your company. And so I'm going to go ahead and select this particular one and I'm going to click create. Now that we come in here, we click create. I've got my video selected. You'll know down here because I see the video appearing in my knowledge section. But you see, in Alphana, you could either do things one at a time, like create one set of Instagram reels or a Twitter thread or a newsletter. Or what I love, and I'm sure most of you do, is you could actually use a template. And our AI templates leverage and are essentially like multiple marketing assistants all doing work for you at the same time. So if I'm in here and I'm creating a project and I want to take this webinar and I want to create multiple pieces of content, I want to select a template that does it all for me. So I'm just going to scroll here and type webinar and I'm going to filter and see, all right, perfect. So now I've got a webinar content workflow. And if I expand that, you're going to see that it's going to create all these little items, right? You'll see all these little chips in here from screenshots, Twitter threads, keywords, image ideas. So let's go ahead and select that one. Now I'm going to click next. And here's what's great is that you could personalize how you want the content generated before you actually generate the content. And so in this case, all right, I want my tone to be conversational, friendly, playful, right? You could choose any one. My reading level, I usually say, hey, open it up at a wider accessible reading level, right? Do like 6th grade, but you could change this, okay? You could change anything in here. Just type whatever it is that you want. My target audience, in this case, let's do marketers. And for language, we want it in English. That's how we want the content. And what's great is that you could add additional instructions, and that could be anything from like color choices to wording, do's and don'ts, words to avoid. You could literally come up with a list and bullet point that in here, and that'll help to tell our AI how you like the content to be written once it produces it from it. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and click next. And now in here I see, okay, edit transcript before generating. I already edited the transcript. I don't need to, but if you ever need to edit a transcript, you can. And you can also edit the names of the speakers so you can get better output. So right now I'm going to skip that and hit generate. All right, let's see how this looks. Beautiful. So as you could see, all the content is now being hosted on its own project page. Here's the video that I had uploaded. And if you look here on the sidebar, look at all this content that we're going to generate. This is all in one shot. Right? If you look at the summaries, the highlight clips, shorts, title ideas, and what's great is a lot of this information starts happening in real time. You could scroll and kind of see, like if I click on blog posts, right? You can see the blog post being generated. You can see the newsletter being generated. It's all happening right in front of your eyes. And like I said earlier, so much content on your webinars are getting lost. So let's let that run. I want to give you a couple fun facts, right? The webinar market in 2025 is on fire, okay? It's actually projected to hit over $134 billion by 2032. It's growing almost 14% every year. That means content's not stopping. People are still creating webinars, and they might not be called webinars. They might call them live streams. You might call them master classes, right? But these are like these sessions that you put up and you're helping. They could be workshops, they're educational, they could be fun. So, the other key important thing is that webinars actually convert. The average conversion rate is 56%, which is more than double than what most paid ads deliver, right? So hopefully most of you are already creating webinars, and if you aren't, then you're missing out on an opportunity to be able to convert more than 56% of people who watch your webinar content. All right, so hopefully those are some quick fun facts. As you can see, I've got a wealth of content. I've got some shorts that are still in progress that's being generated as we speak. But I mean, just look at all this that we have here. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into it. While this is wrapping up, any questions, I want to check it out in our chat. All right, so someone said, so we do workshops. After the workshop, I'd like to create an ebook for the attendees based on the workshop. Can Alphana do this? Beautiful. Yes, so you could actually generate the ebook content. So for example, we can create like the cover image for what the ebook's going to look like. You could also generate the text and the different chapters. And so we have cards and templates inside of Alphana to be able to take a video, take that workshop, and convert it into ebook content. Now, sometimes you might need to you could either copy and paste that to a doc and export it, or you might throw that into a design tool to further make that ebook more stylish, depending on how you need it. But at least for the basis of the content, we can get you the chapters, the outline, the details for the content that's going to be in there. And we have a template already to help you with ebooks. All right, let me see. Next question. Alphana is the best investment ever for me. Thank you. And Sebastian is the most engaged developer. I really appreciate that. I definitely have a great team behind me on this. I've encountered with every interaction being high value. Hey, I really appreciate that. That's an awesome compliment. So thank you. Hopefully all we're trying to do is help deliver value and help you all to either make more money, grow your business, and save a ton of time, because I know content workflows could be pretty time consuming. So we want to help you automate the parts that you're not interested in doing. Okay. We don't want to take away creativity. We just want to help you to actually optimize what you're doing. So, all right. As you can see, project finished. All right. This probably took 2 minutes, maybe less to generate. But again, if most webinar content kind of dies at the time that it records, why not generate more content? So if you think about a webinar, you're going to need a description. What was the webinar about? Gives you kind of a short intro into it, right? In this example, Alex Catoni shares a straightforward 6-step marketing funnel to convert leads into customers. She emphasizes the importance of strong messaging, high value lead magnets, and nurturing emails. This practical approach built without paid ads has helped her to generate millions while staying accessible to businesses of all sizes. So what's great about this is it gives you a nice intro that you could put on your webinar page or in an email blast to let people know, hey, this is what the webinar was about. Okay. I know what happens. A lot of times you put together an agenda, you do it for a webinar, maybe you put together an outline or a deck, but what ends up happening on the actual live session could be different. So right after, you want to be able to now sum it up and put together based on the actuals that happened on the webinar, right? Because maybe you planned for content thinking you could fit it in 30 minutes, and in reality, you had an hour's worth of content, so you couldn't get to it. So this helps to refine that. All right, now the other part, webinar highlight clips, okay? Short clips, short form content is so important. It drives as a funnel for people to actually watch your long form content. So if you're trying to, let's say you're driving traffic and people to watch your webinar, fantastic. But on socials, you could use this as a way to kind of bait people in, okay? Go through the video and find the top 5 best moments of your video, or top 10, find a couple clips and feed it little by little onto your social channels. Then in there, you can have a call to action to go sign up to watch the full webinar episode, right? And so if people liked, let's say this 2-minute segment, if I click on it, now you can't hear it, I don't have my volume on, but if they like this particular segment, then they're going to watch the full thing. They're gonna be like, wow, actually, I want to hear the entire conversation. It's the same you would do if you launched a podcast episode or a video on YouTube. You want to extract those shorts so you could put it up online and drive more top of funnel leads to your business. All right. Now, these gave it to you in landscape mode, right? A lot of B2B companies, they might do screen sharing or they're posting on LinkedIn. So you get a lot of these great landscape clips that you could put on these platforms. But let's say I like this. I want to take this one. I want to take that one. I want to take that one. Okay, they look great. But I don't want it in landscape. I want to actually do it in vertical. Well, when you go to download these clips, you could override these options, and now I could switch from landscape over to vertical, right? And then you could choose your colors if you want to enable captions, change the colors to be able to match your brand. Let's say it was blue for the background and white for the color. And then if you've got multiple speakers on your show or on your webinar episode, you could click auto, and what auto will do would automatically reframe the speakers and stack them to vertical layout for you. Okay, it does the heavy lifting. And from there, you could just go ahead and hit download. And that'll process the clips in the background. That way you can have access to it to put up on social media. So very powerful. All right. Now that we've got our summary, we've got some highlight clips. Okay. And here's what's great. I probably should have just jumped this one. We already create the webinar shorts for you. So you now have access to both the landscape videos as well as webinar shorts, and they'll find you the best moments that you can use for these different platforms, right? And here we are. So we've got highlight clips. We've got webinar shorts. Now some title ideas, okay? Trust me, a lot of titles that most people come up with, they don't work, okay? You need stuff that's proven, things that are worded in specific ways to try to capture attention. What we do is we analyze the entire video, and our AI agents will go and figure out what are the best title options for this video. And it puts together 10 different ideas for titles that you could use to be able to drive people to watch your video, okay? You could always go with the first one. And in this case, it's how to build a simple 6-step funnel that converts leads to sales. That's a great title, right? If I'm looking to build a funnel and I'm trying to drive more sales, this sounds very actionable for someone like me, right? Or here's another title idea, right? Create a $1 million funnel without paid ads, the step-by-step guide. So as you could see, this provides you with a list of webinar title ideas that you could use for your platform. And for those of you that are trying to go, maybe you're ready to take it a step further. The other reason why we provide multiple titles is because you could do A/B testing. Okay. I'm a big believer in that. Drop 3 different titles, 5 different titles. You could run ads against each one, or you could put them on social media and see which one does better. There's tools out there that let you to be able to A/B test these things. So I've got my webinar, generated some title ideas. Now we break out chapters. Okay. Give your customers segments and chapters from the video. This was a very short video, so it only gave me 2 chapters, okay? It wasn't a long one. But most webinars, if they're 30 minutes or an hour long, you may have 5 or 10 different chapters broken down in the video. We analyze it and put together those timestamps because this makes it great to copy and paste into platforms like YouTube, and it makes it clickable so people could skip through the chapters, right? Not only that, but if you're trying to create more social content, here are some screenshots that we captured from your video. So we automatically analyze the entire video and try to grab 8 screenshots throughout. Now this was mostly a talking video, so you got more screenshots of the speaker. Now aside from screenshots, what are you going to do with this webinar? You got to put it together on a landing page, okay? You want to send people to your webinar. Ideally, you're going to set it up as a lead capture, have them fill out their information to collect their name, and then let them see the webinar. This is good for always on webinars. So you could have your webinar hosted on your website. And what's great is it puts together the full description. It breaks down what you'll learn if you dedicate your next 15 or 30 minutes to watching this video. And then at the end, it talks about like a key takeaway on what they emphasize and who the webinar is perfect for. So in this case, it says, this webinar is perfect for marketers looking to simplify their strategies and achieve impactful results. Can anybody tell me, why does it say it's perfect for marketers? Well, if you remember in my initial settings, I put in my personalization settings, I wanted this target audience to be marketers. So it's rewording and formatting the content to match this being for marketers. This would have said for founders or students or for teachers, depending on who your target audience is, right? So this is a great copy you could put on a landing page, have a lead capture form on there, but it did the work for you in putting together exactly the copy, all based on the insights from the video. All right, let me take a quick pause. Let me see quick questions I see in the chat. How can we determine the most popular portion of the video? Great question. So we actually help to find some of the best moments based on the clips and the segments that are either talking about something, and I'll show you, either because we write the prompts and we kind of have our AI analyze it. So in this case, it says, hey, please select 5 to 10 noteworthy, controversial, or potentially viral clips for YouTube Shorts that are between 40 to 60 seconds long. So we are in there trying to find those short segments. And you'll see in here, we try to find the ones that dive straight into the point, right? And not only that, but each clip should begin with a strong hook or a statement. Okay, because these are some of the best practices of short form video. You want to capture them in the first 3 seconds, 2 to 3 seconds of the video, right? Is when you're going to capture their attention. So we try to find clips where the first couple seconds of the video, like this one says, the number of times that I heard people say, I need to fix my funnel, like it's already speaking to who the customer is, right? And so that's what we do, is we automatically analyze to try to find the best clips that you could use for social media. Now, there's more you could do, right? You could put many of these clips online, see which ones get the most views, and then go back and find the one that was the highest performing one, and then grab that video and make more videos like that one, okay? So this helps you to kind of also test the market on social media, because remember, it's actually no longer social media. It's interest media. Okay, because these platforms don't just show your content to your followers. Actually, followers have become way less important on platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts. It's really about the content itself. Is that content going to resonate with more people? And then you let the algorithms from TikTok, from Instagram, from YouTube to be able to boost that video to other people's audiences. Okay, so you could drive and attract more people to you. We help to really find a lot of the best clips for you based on a lot of these best practices. And that was a great question. I see this is your first time attending, so I'm really glad that you're here. I'm glad that you are impressed. So thank you so much. Yes, this is actually being recorded, and usually after a couple days, we make quick edits and then we publish that on our YouTube channel. So, and we'll send out an email to everybody who initially signed up, so you'll also get access to the recording. All right, so thank you. Again, drop your questions into chat if you have any. I love it. I want to hear them all. The next thing that I'll jump into are image ideas. So right now we generated one image idea. What we do is we analyze the video and put together what an image could look like to use as either a post, it could be a featured image for a blog, and you'll see in this case, right, it shows a funnel, because that's what's being talked about in the video, right? Here you got traffic funneling, and I just described this. Look at this, pulling in from X, from YouTube, from Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, right? That all funnels to a landing page, which again, we just provided you the landing page copy that you need to be able to drive people to. And from there, you collect their information, because that becomes, the webinar becomes a lead magnet, okay? So you're setting up a funnel to be able to drive people, get your traffic to your landing page, drive them into a lead magnet, and then convert those to sales. And you'll see that we actually come up with the prompts. So you don't need to understand how to write these prompts, because we have an entire library of over 120 content cards that all have pre-constructed prompts to be able to analyze and generate content from your video. And so in this case, you'll see we wrote a futuristic digital landscape representing a marketing funnel with glowing neon pathways symbolizing different steps like traffic, landing pages, and lead magnets. Each segment is visually distinct with holographic icons for email, sales pages, and social media platforms floating in a cyberpunk-inspired cityscape. I mean, look at the image and look at the prompt, okay? I know that I cannot come up with this exact prompt in this way, right? That would just take me hours. And this happens literally in seconds, okay? So what's great is that we have one here, but I could always click edit. And what's great is that we have an entire prompt for what these cards look like, which you can make adjustments to. But if I come over here and I click add card, okay? Or if I click here, because I want it to appear above here, we have an entire card library that I mentioned earlier, okay? I'm gonna come in here and I wanna do like a carousel or presentation slides based on the content from this video. So I'm going to click on this card. When I click on this card, you'll see that it has very detailed instructions. Okay, this is really long. We're not just saying, hey, create an image, right? We are very detailed on how we want the content to be written. We got high quality, landscape view, and I want to create 4 at a time. And I'm going to hit generate. Now what this is going to do, because again, once you select a template, you can now edit and tweak every single piece that you see inside of Alphana. So now you could customize what that webinar content is going to look like. And in this case, I'm going to generate more images based on the webinar. And so we'll see what that looks like. Let me see, any questions? So, hi, Sebastian. Future updates. Will we be able to select our own parts of the script for generating content? That's a great, so that's a great idea. And so today you could theoretically do that, okay? But it's just, it depends on how you do it. So in this case, what we do is we could click on transcript at the top. When you click on it, you could see now we have the full transcript based on the video. But if you said, hey, I would like to grab from, let's say, here to here, and I want to copy the text So it depends. You could do two things. One is you could copy the text so that you could create content from it, or you could copy the timestamps. Okay. So for example, if I click copy timestamps and I come in here and I add a clips from timestamps card, this is currently in progress, so I can't click on it. But what's great is that you could copy and paste those timestamps into the timestamps card and say, hey, please create a clip based off of these timestamps. Okay. So yes, you could do that. Number two, what you could do is you could copy this text for this part of the video, copy that part of the transcript. And instead of creating a video clips, you could come in here to create a blog post, and so you would just say, create your own. And so once this is done loading, all you would say is, hey, I want you to write a blog post, or I want you to write a LinkedIn post based on this part of the transcript. And then you paste the text right below it. And that's how you'll be able to actually create content based on portions of the video. Is there a card that takes a transcript narration and turns them into image prompts? Different styles, example, cinematography, realistic, ads general, black and white. Yeah. So I think we do have image prompt cards actually. So if I come in here and I type image prompt, so we have a couple in here that are just generating prompts, like a podcast cover prompt, YouTube thumbnail image prompt, blog post cover prompt. But we have some of these styles. So if I come in here and I say like cyberpunk, right? So I could create like a YouTube thumbnail cyberpunk style. So like we already have prompts inside of Alphana to generate different styles of images that you could use. And so I've got cyberpunk, I've got, clean. So like carousel post images with 3D illustration, checklist visual simple, illustration insight. So these will do like we even have like anime, or maybe it's Ghibli, right? So we got a few that are doing like Studio Ghibli style images for carousels, for YouTube thumbnails, for lyric images. And so what you could do is actually use one of these pre-existing prompts and then just edit each one to swap out like vintage film or moody low key. So you could easily do that by reusing some of the prompts that we already have inside of Alphana. Next question, ideas to take a script and turn them into 30 to 50 sequential prompts based on images. I love the cyberpunk one. I love it too. All right, so you're saying you want to take the transcript and turn them into 30 to 50 sequential prompts based on images. So are you trying to create different prompts for a series of images that you want to create is what you're saying? Yeah, because what you could do with that, before I show you these images, I could come in here and I could say, create, and I'm just going to do, I'll do 20 for now, create 20 sequential image prompts based on this video transcript. And what I'll do is I'm actually going to take your examples, use these example styles for the 20 image prompts, keep each prompt to under 100 words. Okay. So I'm going to do something like that just to give you an idea, and I'll click generate. And so what's great is because remember, it already has access to the transcript. It has the video, so you don't have to copy and paste a transcript. And so in there, I'm asking it to do 20, but you could say 30 to 50. I'm doing it to help save time on this. And you could put in the different styles that you want. You could even say, hey, come up with whatever style that you want. Okay. That's pretty flexible. And usually just takes a moment, and you'll see that it'll start generating here, right? And it comes up with now prompts that could be used as images. And look at that, 20 different prompts. These are shorter, and I made them short on purpose. But if you look at these, here's one like a vibrant scene of a marketer brainstorming at a desk with a laptop surrounded by sticky notes labeled traffic, leads, and sales. Another one is a clean, minimalistic funnel diagram showing a journey from unaware to paying customer, right? The third one, traffic generation, a dynamic image of social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, with arrows pointing to a website. So this can help come up with a whole series of images or prompts, and then you could actually copy these if you wanted to. And again, just use our image prompt here and say the image should be about, and then paste the prompt of what you want it to do. Okay. So it makes it very turnkey to be able to generate images in here. You don't have to use the templates that we provided. And I'll pull these up, but this one did it in a minimalistic kind of flat white color style and generated a series of 4 images that could be used based on the insights from the video. Awesome. So as we are kind of wrapping things up, I want to cover a couple more things that you'll get out of this, right? So again, you're taking your webinar, turn that into a blog post. This drafts an entire blog post based on the video. In this particular case, we put in the prompt to use emojis. If you don't want emojis, that's just a simple tweak you can do to be able to remove them, and always ends with a call to action based on the content from the video. The other thing, email. Email is super important, okay? Once you shoot your webinar, you need to put together an email and send it out to all the attendees. And guess what? Send it out to your entire email list. Like, hey, you missed out on this awesome webinar. Here's what it was about, high level. It gives you kind of the 6 simple steps to process. So it kind of summarizes it, and it tells you why this webinar is a must watch. Because remember, you want to funnel everybody to go watch the webinar, okay? You give them bonus insights and then a call to action to watch the webinar. You don't have to write this copy. It puts it together for you. It drafts together and puts together a LinkedIn post with a hook that does well for LinkedIn. Like this simple 6-step funnel generated over $1 million in its first year. And then it dives into it, right? Most people think you need a fancy, expensive funnel to succeed, but Alex Catoni proved otherwise. Her straightforward funnel is built on clear messaging, not complexity, and it works. So you can see that the content is always going to be written in a way to draw the person in, right? And then we draft a 9-tweet X or Twitter thread, and we put together SEO and long tail keywords for your webinar so that you can throw this on the landing page to help make your webinar more discoverable. Super, super important. So this is our webinar content workflow. Again, when you go to create, you go to our template library, and when you scroll, you'll get access to all of the templates that we have inside of our library. And what's great is that we have one dedicated for a lot of different platforms like Instagram, blogs, coaching. But in this case, we used our webinar content workflow. All you need to do is select that one, hit next, upload your video, and you'll be able to generate a project like this in less than a few minutes. All right, so another question. Are you planning to add social media scheduling into Alphana? Sorry, scheduling content. Yes, it's something that we have on our roadmap. I don't have an ETA on it, but we are trying to find more ways to be able to integrate to get content both in and out of Alphana. So I'll definitely keep you guys updated as I know more on that. And go ahead and drop in the chat. Is there 1 or 2 platforms that anybody that's on this show that you'd prefer to have for scheduling? I'd love to hear it. I'll kind of leave you guys with a couple more quick facts. I think this is going to help you out because that wraps up part of the demo. But, just a couple key takeaways with this. I'll tell you with the registration pages, this is super important, right? The top registration pages for webinars are seeing sign-up rates as high as 59%. Which is massive. Okay, it's crazy. And that means that with the right messaging up front, it can make a huge difference, which is why you want to use tools like Alphana or things to repurpose, because you could take that content to find the right messaging that you need. And as we looked at a lot of data, right, 98% of marketers this year plan to use AI to repurpose or support their webinars. Either they're already using it or they're going to use it. So it's not really a niche thing anymore. Okay, it's becoming the norm. And so if you haven't been doing this already, you're going to get left behind and you need to jump into it. And so I think these things are all super important. Webinars are huge. It's going to hit, again, $134 billion by 2032, and that's growing every single year. So take advantage of it. Use tools to be able to help repurpose and create content at scale. That's a wrap for today's Insider Live. I'm Sebastian Mora, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Alphana. I'd really appreciate if you hit like once this video hits up on YouTube, drop a comment. The algorithm loves it. So please drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we push out videos like this every single week. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.